Good evening, everybody. I am Pastor Ty with Flowing Life Outreach and Worship Center, and I'm excited tonight because tonight we are hosting the men. Somebody at home say men. Tonight is a night for men, and the topic of our discussion, or at least the title of our panel discussion tonight is "You good, bro?" A question that we ask the fellas all the time. It's just in regular conversation. But a question that you should not let just slip past you without somebody giving you an honest answer. Sometimes you need to have these hard conversations. And as men, sometimes we don't want to talk. I'm not going to dig too deep in what they're going to talk about tonight. I'm just excited about it. So I don't want to get ahead of them or ahead of myself. I just want to introduce you. Thank you for streaming here at Flowing Life Outreach and Worship Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. I want you to not only hit that like button, not only do I want you to share this for other men to be able to see it, to get what they need tonight, but I also want you, if you're in the comments, to go ahead and put not only where you're streaming from, but go ahead and tag some men that you think this might be a blessing to or it might encourage tonight. We're going to cover some good topics tonight. Also, if you have questions, things that you want to ask our panelists, and we have some amazing people that are going to be speaking to you tonight. We have a doctor and we have a licensed mental health counselor. Did I say that right? Yes, I got it right. And so, you know, not only do they know what they are talking about from a technical and a professional stance, but these are people who are believers. These are people that are spirit-filled. These are people who love God with all of their heart. So you are getting the best of both worlds with what they're about to share with you tonight. And so I encourage you, you know, if you're at home, to go ahead and take notes, to make mental note. If you're not somewhere where you can write this information down, share it with another man. If you are a woman and you're streaming tonight, or even if you're watching this at a later date, I want you to share it with the men that you love. Share it with your uncle, your nephew, your cousin, your father, your grandfather, your son. Share it with all of these people because the information that we are sharing tonight is going to be vital to men's mental health. And what better time to have it than this month in May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, bringing awareness to our mental health. And so all of you that are familiar with me, you know that I'm always practical and prayerful about everything. I like to take both the spiritual and the natural aspects of everything. And so I believe in the blood of Jesus. I believe in the power of the cross. I believe in the word of God. I believe in being filled with the Holy Spirit. I believe in all of these spiritual tools. I also believe in very practical and natural applications that we can use in order to build up or to nurture our mental health. Guys, we need this. We need this. And so I'm excited about it tonight. We're going to play this brief video just to give you a generic or a general overview of what mental health is, and then we're digging deep tonight. So fellas, come with us, tag some guys in the comments or share this so that some more fellas can see it so that we can dig deep on this evening. And so I hope that you enjoy yourself. Make sure you put your questions in the comments, and we're going to try to hit those questions tonight before we finish up. And so I hope that you enjoy your time, make yourself comfortable, embrace yourself for what you're about to receive this evening.
Everybody, welcome in. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. We got an hour worth of some stuff that we're going to unpack, y'all. So get comfortable, grab your favorite snack, something to drink or something like that, and let's get going. Laurie, you want to introduce yourself?
Welcome, everybody. Let's be interactive tonight, y'all. Sit back, relax. This is not going to just be uptight. We're going to be very interactive. I want you to comment where you're streaming from, interact with the people in the comments. We're going to be asking you questions, y'all, so go ahead and interact right now. We want to welcome you. I am Laurie Ford, licensed clinical mental health counselor here in the state of North Carolina.
All right, and I am Tashan. I am in healthcare. I'm a doctor of physical therapy. Been practicing for about 5 years now here in, not all here in the Charlotte area, but here in the Charlotte area. And so we're going to talk about some things. Also, if you can't tell, I'm a guy. And we're going to talk about mental health that fellas go through and that fellas have. So a couple of housekeeping things. Listen, we talked about putting stuff in the comments. If you have questions, any comments, questions, or anything that you want us to address, we have an agenda, but put it in the comments because we want to get the whole purpose of this is to be able to share some education and to highlight some things that you want to talk about. So this is your opportunity to get what you want out of this hour. This whole hour is dedicated to you. You see what I'm saying? And me too, because I'm a guy. So I'm going to take my time as well. So I'm going to get what I need out of it. She's a counselor, and this is free for me. So I'm going to get my hour session out of this. So I encourage you to get your hour session out of it as well. So again, we got an hour. We try not to go over an hour. So get those questions in at least in the first 45 minutes so that we can get to you. All right? All right.
And don't be shy, y'all. This is a safe, non-judgmental zone. Don't be shy. No judgment here. All compassion and empathy, truth and knowledge. And so we will not judge you at all. We're going to get started, y'all. So I want to start off by asking Dr. Duff, talk to us about why men don't feel it's okay to share their emotions or communicate how they feel with anyone, basically.
I'm going to speak. So all these answers to these questions are my perspective, first of all, right? So I don't speak on behalf of all men. I don't speak on behalf of all black people. But that's why you need to put in the comment to put your perspective in there. But I'm sure a lot of people share my perspective. So I'm going to try to use me when I answer these questions. If I say men and stuff like that, just understand my heart. Now your question, what was the question again?
It's loaded. So we know in society it's like men be tough, right? And men don't share. So why is it? Like why men don't share their heart, their emotions? Women do, right? Cool. But why men don't feel comfortable sharing what's on their heart with anyone?
Yeah, I think there's tons of answers to that question probably, but we were never taught how to. Like nobody set me down as I was coming up, whether it's a child or reaching adolescence or adulthood, and say, this is how you communicate. This is how you explain what's going on in your mind. So growing up, I never really knew how. I mean, even to the day, now being married, having kids on the way and stuff like that, we don't really have the tools or know how to process what I'm going through and what I'm feeling. Even the word feeling by itself is like almost foreign to me, to be honest with me. And the first couple of years of my marriage with my wife, it was hard communicating because they say communication is a big thing with marriage, right? Well, how do you communicate when one person is in tune with their feeling and another person really isn't in tune with what they're feeling? So she would ask me questions like, well, what do you feel about this situation? Like all her questions were feel. What do you feel? How do you feel? What do you think? Okay. And my response to her, I was like, one day I couldn't answer it. And one day I had to break it down to you. I was like, why don't you stop asking me what I feel and start asking me what I think?
Oh, that's good.
Because I know what I'm thinking. If you ask me, hey, what do you think about this situation? I can run it down to you. If you ask me, hey, how are you thinking about this? How are you thinking about that? I can process those thoughts, but I can't process those emotions. So really, I've never really been taught how to process my emotions, right? And so what that does is it comes off as frustration.
Right. No, I love it. I don't know what you got, but I got lack of knowledge, y'all. Especially in the African American community. I speak for our community. We grow up with generational cycles of being silenced, or hey, you fell off your bike at 3, suck it up. And that's not showing males how to embrace their emotion. And so ask them, are they okay first? And then be like, all right, you got this. So I'm hearing lack of knowledge. And like you said, what are emotions? Sad, happy. We don't even know what emotions are. And so guess what? In men, like you said, it turns into frustration and anger. And we wondering like, bro, you good? Because we don't even know what's going on. And so I love that you said the lack of knowledge, because we don't have that knowledge, y'all. We can't help our men and they can't help themselves. So I love that. My next question for you is, how did you learn how to embrace your feelings? Like, how did you learn that? You said lack of knowledge. I know you're older now. And so did you even learn that part?
Learning. So I'll be honest with you guys. Now, well, first of all, let's back up. Let's rewind. I have always thought I was strong, like mentally. When we talk about mental health, I was like, y'all got it. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't really think I had to deal. Like, I didn't think I didn't know how to deal with it. Let's run that down, right? And then something called 2020 happened.
Woo! Say that. Say that when you got to sit there. Say that.
2020 was heavy. And I started going through more stuff emotionally and mentally in 2020, especially the summertime of 2020. And it was hard for me to realize the signs and the symptoms. I didn't know what was going on. And so my sister has a podcast. Shout out to her podcast. That's good. So my sister had a podcast, and I'm watching it, and she put together some stuff in words that how I was feeling, right? She introduced me to a word called trauma fatigue, right? Because in the summer of 2020, pandemic is in the height. You start seeing cop killing after cop killing over and over and over, to the part where I had to either compartmentalize to survive, or keep looking at it and going crazy, right? And so she introduced that word trauma fatigue. I'm like, yo, I'm seeing it over and over and over again, and it's almost like I'm getting numb to it, but it's messing with me, right? And so I'm going to work, and I'm trying to work with patients. I work with people that are hurting all the time. And so when I'm hurting, how do I help somebody else who's hurting? I didn't have nothing else to give. I'm getting frustrated at home and all that type of stuff. And I'm like, yo, what's going on with me? I'm tired all the time. All I want to do is sleep. No matter how much I'm sleeping, I'm not getting rest. I'm like, what's going on with me? And somebody was like, hey, bro, you might need to check in on your mental health. I was like, nah. You know, so it's something that I'm still learning. Even 2 weeks ago, I was at work right off the heels of the Derek Chauvin case, right? Where he gets convicted, and we're like, we finally got one. That same day, two more people were killed, right? So it's like as soon as we got something, boom, you get hit again. And emotionally, that was just the straw that took me over, right? So two more, the next day I'm at work, and just mentally I'm not there. Like, and I'm talking with people, and I'm fighting back tears. And I'm like, why am I feeling so like I just want to explode? You know, I couldn't put it together. And to the point where at lunch, I was about to cancel the rest of my day and go home. I didn't know how to, you know, so I'm still working on that. And I pulled one of my supervisors, you know, to the side, and I just needed somebody to talk to.
I love it.
And he said something that was pretty important, because he's gone to counseling before. And he said, men, we don't have boxes to be able to categorize our emotions in. We know we're happy. We know we're not happy.
Yep, that's it.
That's it. That's it.
That sums it up.
You know what I mean? And so when we like, okay, I'm not happy, but I'm not sad either. What is it? And so when I don't know what it is, it comes across as frustration, right? Because we're supposed to have all the answers. We're supposed to know the answer to everything. And when I don't have the answer to myself, that's hard to deal with.
That is.
That's hard to deal with.
So I'm hearing you're still learning, but I'm seeing growth. I don't know about y'all. I'm seeing some growth, and it's even 2 weeks ago, I'm seeing growth. And one thing he said that I want to shed light on is he went to somebody and he asked, and he opened his mouth, he talked, and they gave him some wisdom and some knowledge and referred him to a therapist. And one thing about our mental health is the foundation of how we see ourselves, how we feel, and I'll be spiritual. It's also the foundation of how we see God. So our mental health, it doesn't even have gender roles. You know, our mental health is not old for women, old for men. It's for everybody. And so when it comes to your mental health, I think as a society, we need to start putting in the atmosphere that there are safe places for men to talk, not just women, not just kids, but men to open up and talk. And we need to be those people that will provide that safe pillow for them. They don't want to hear us talking back all the time. Men ain't like that. They not your girlfriends. They might just need you to listen, right? For our family, the support system. I had to learn the hard way, like, I don't need your solution. I need your ear. Because when they open up, they open up. So and I think that'll help men too when you have that listening ear, whether it's another male or female, it's like, okay, just let them vent so they can get it out. And they will begin to feel comfortable. Because think about it, men have so many roles, and I commend you guys. Y'all have so many roles and so much pressure on you, and so you feel like you have to walk around with this weight on your shoulder because you have to. But the Holy Spirit told me before this, he said, take the pressure off. I gave you those roles so I can get the glory, but for you not to put the pressure on yourself. So take that pressure off, y'all. Like males, that's one big thing I want you to do. Take the pressure off because you don't have to carry all of that weight on your own. Do we have any questions in the comments? Any questions? Anything y'all want to know real quick? We're going to switch to the audience. Any questions?
So with that, you said something good. So, bro, man, listen, fella to fella, talk about it. Mm-hmm. Let it off your chest. Mm-hmm. Talk about it. I know it's hard, bro. I know it's hard, but you got to stop internalizing this stuff because us as fellas, like you said, we have so many roles, and you always got to be. You got to have it together. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard. It's hard. Oh, my goodness. One of the hardest things is to say, not I need help, but I don't have it together, bro.
Hello.
I don't have it together. Like one of the hardest things, I got to the point, and it must be growth because I would have never said this. I got to the point not too long ago where I didn't say it out loud, but mentally I recognized that I just wanted somebody to tell me that it's going to be okay.
Say that.
Right? That's what we always telling our wives. We always telling our kids, even if we know this look bad. But to say, yo, it's going to be okay. I wanted somebody, that day I was at work, I wanted somebody to let me know that I'm not crazy and that it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
For real. It's like, you know what I'm saying? There's this one time where I had a close friend pass away. And one of the homies back in Lynchburg in Virginia, pretty strong guy. He just grabbed me and just held me as tight as he could, right? Because if not, I would have fell. I would have fell on my face. But it was something about that was just like, dang, somebody else got me. Yep. Like, I don't have to be strong right now. Like, somebody else could be strong for me. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Thankfully, I've married the most perfect woman for me.
Woo woo to the wives, Shout out to the wives.
We just celebrated anniversary. 3
Shout out
years.
to Lakir Duff.
3 good years. I realized that she was dope when I was able to tell her how I felt and she listened. That's and good. She made a change. Like one time, I'll never forget, we were on the stairs. I was sitting on the steps. One of the hardest things I've ever done in my life was tell my wife that she hurt my feelings.
That's good. That's good.
It was so like, you know, you get to that point where it's like a whole day going on and it's awkward, like tense in the house, like you frustrated, she frustrated, and it's like, what's going on? And I'm sitting on the stairs and she by the door. You might remember this. I'm sitting on the stairs and she's by the door, and my leg is like tension, and it's just like so much tension. I'm like, I couldn't look at her in the eyes, so we look somewhere else and stuff like that. And I said, "You hurt my feelings," and right then, like, I just started bawling, like for no reason. Like I just started crying, but it felt so good. You see what I'm saying? Good. And she apologized, and I was like, all right, I got to go cut the grass or something now. I got to go do some push-ups or something to get my eye back. But it felt so good just to release. Yes. And it was on accepting ears. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. She ain't pushed back. It was like, man, you little punk, man, you better go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Because then that would have made me clamor up even more. So women, if you listening, don't do that. Because that's going to make me, you know what I'm saying, internalize even more, and it's just going to cause problems. And sooner or later, I'm going to explode. And me in this color skin, I can't afford to explode. Seriously, I can't afford to be angry, right? So you have to get your outlets out.
Yeah. No, I love it. First, your transparency, y'all, for real. If you don't get nothing else, the transparency is here. But it's so crazy. I was thinking the same thing. I'm going to speak to wives because I'm a wife and I'm married, right, to a man. So I'm going to speak on the wives, y'all. We are the foundation of their security, of their vulnerability. And if they can't be safe, it starts in our home. If they can't be safe with us, they're not going to a therapist. They're not going to nobody else to get the help that they need. And so our role is bigger than our mouth. Okay? So your role as a wife is bigger than your mouth, and so sometimes your mouth have to be on hush so your husband can get that healing and the release that he needs. And so that if you don't take anything else, wives, soon to be wives, women, want to be a wife, as even a sister, you got brothers, because I have a little brother. My role as a sister, as an auntie, as a mom, as whatever, my role is bigger than the words that I'm gonna speak to him. Because it takes him a lot to share with us, y'all. So just know, and they want to hear, just like we want to hear, baby, I got you. They want to hear it too. They want to hear, I got you. You don't have to worry. They want to hear that. They don't have to break their neck and work 14-hour shifts because, all right, cool. You do your 7 hours, or you want to work part-time, cool, because I work full-time. We in this together. That's a lot. Just like we want them to take the stress off of us and watch the kids. It's the same thing. That's all a part of mental health, y'all. All of that, you working, a man going to work and know they can't take a break because they got to provide. They the only ones, and they, not because you can't work, because you think the man is supposed to do everything. No, that plays on their mental health. So you want them to get better, you got to play a part in it too. So that's just some wisdom for us ladies who are married or seeking to be married or whatever. So we're going to move on. Any more questions, comments? If not, we're going to move right along. Yes, healing tears. I tell my clients that all the time. It's okay to cry. Those are healing tears. It's not like, oh, you weak. No. To be strong is to cry.
Yeah. Hey, I got some fellas, and they might be on the stream. They might be on the stream today. They haven't cried in years, or say they might cry once a year.
Yeah.
Right. Secretly, you know what I mean, in private or whatever like that. But to say you haven't cried in years, you got a lot of. That's like saying I ain't took a shower in years, right? You got a lot of stuff pent up and built up on you, and you wonder why you can't sleep. I have fellas that haven't slept a peaceful. When's the last time you had a peaceful night's sleep? Right? Because I know how it feels to be able to. So 2 things that I used to never want to do. I would never want to be alone, and I would never want it to be quiet. So obviously I'm a people person, you could tell. And I would use that as a defense mechanism because I would always be around people, because as long as I'm always entertaining and stuff like that. And I tell jokes because you never know what somebody else is going through. And if you can make somebody else laugh, then that's good. But at the same time, I was hurting inside, right? And there was a defense mechanism. So as long as I'm entertaining somebody, I know how it feels to be in a crowd of people and then feel alone. When I was by myself, I would always play music, always playing music or something like that, because I never wanted to deal with my own thoughts. Because once I have to deal with my own thoughts, I have to realize that I'm not happy. I got a lot going on, and I don't know how to process that, so you drown it out.
Exactly.
Fellas, stop drowning it out. Listen, we got counselors. We got professional people, and some people want a male counselor, right? Because you understand what's going through.
Exactly.
Some people want a female counselor that's going to talk to them like their auntie will talk to them. You see what I'm saying? So it's not a one-size-fits-all thing when it comes to counselors. Like, talk to somebody, get it out, because if not, you're going to cope and you're going to try to suppress it with other things. I know how it feels. That's when the drugs and the alcohol come on. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to have to smoke yourself to sleep every night. Every night. And you're not going to be able to operate unless you get dependent on something. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so that's heavy. It seemed like we got a question.
We got a question, so I'm going to wait.
From the
Let's see. What's the question?
What advice would you give to a guy who doesn't feel like he has a safe environment to be emotional or to show his feelings? Whether he's married or whether he's just in the household or around people that don't give him that safe space to be emotional or his feelings. What advice would you give that person?
You got to find it, bro. So the question is, what somebody asked, what would you tell a fella that feels like there is no such thing as a safe place, or they don't have a safe place with their environment or with the resources they have or something like that? My first instinct, and you can comment on that, is you got to reach out. There is a safe place. You just got to find it, right? Because nothing's new under the sun. So there's at the very minimum, there's somebody that's been through what you're going through, and they can at least give you some type of perspective. So start small, start by just talking or jotting stuff down or something like that. Find a way to get it out. And then you can transition to the bigger things as far as like an official counselor or something like that. Everybody might not have the resources to go to counseling or know where to start. I work in a hospital, and I had to research where to start to get to you know what I'm saying? So either somebody is out there that's willing to listen and has been through what you've been through and knows what you're going through. I was try to start there.
And I would say for those, like, I'm going to meet you where you are. So if you feel like you don't have nobody, you create that space for yourself. So creating that space may look like journaling. Creating a space may look like you just with your music in your car. You creating that space, that self-talk, talking to yourself, like talking out loud in the car to yourself about your feelings, because when it's in your head, it's clutter. You speaking it out loud, you can hear yourself, and you start to be like, okay, I really do have somebody. When you start speaking it out loud, but if you're not ready to venture out and talk to somebody, you create that space for yourself.
Also, another thing to that is, bro, understand that there's a spiritual aspect of this too, right?
Period.
And the enemy can play tricks on you to make you feel like you're isolated and that you're alone, and then nobody either cares what you're going through, or it doesn't matter if you tell somebody, right? So at the bare minimum, pray about it, bro.
Definitely.
Talk to God, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Talk to God the same way that I'm talking to you right now, and explain to him, Lord, like, I'm frustrated. Tell God you mad. Tell him that you don't understand what's going on. Tell him that you're frustrated. All of these type of things, right? Get it out, and spiritually you'll see a shift, and you'll see a transition right there as well.
And I'll go scripture. When he talks about cast your cares and worries on me, I did that. And I'm a therapist, and he showed me and he guided me to my therapist. Yes, I'm a therapist. I have a therapist. And so when I had to seek the Lord, the Holy Spirit said, you know what? This is your therapist, and heaven sent. And so, like he said, you feel isolated. The enemy wants you to feel like nobody cares. And once you start praying, the Holy Spirit will just minister a little bit to you and start ministering about like who your therapist may be. And he will provide the resources for you, y'all. Open your mouth, speak to him. He will guide you. He is your compass. He'll guide you.
Facts. We got another question.
Okay, good. Oh, God. Okay.
How do you manage your own mental health when someone close to you is projecting their trauma onto you?
Ooh, that's good.
Because it's easier for them to do that than to face the trauma and get healed.
Okay.
I can read it.
No, I got it. So I'm going to say a disclosure first. So I am a therapist, but I'm not your therapist. So whatever I say, don't take like, oh, I have to do this. This is just from my professional perspective. You can take it, you can leave it. However, I just want to put that out there. And so I'll say first, the question was, how do you manage your own mental health when someone else is projecting their trauma onto you? Because it's easier for them to do that than to face their own healing. So number one, this is loaded, but I'm gonna say a big thing. Number one, you have to be in tune with your mental health first. Like the person, you have to be in tune because you have to set that boundary and balance to know that I love you enough to listen to a certain extent, to tell them you don't have the capacity to help them in a certain area, because you got to protect yourself too, but love them and guide them to the places. Pray for them, and don't play God. You're not God. And so when you continue to listen and give them advice about trauma and you want to help and be the people please for them, you're not God. Let them see the God in you, but you're not their God. And so one, you got to have balance. You got to be in tune with your mental health. My friends know I will say, I don't have the capacity for that today. And I'm a therapist. I don't have the capacity. Can you talk? It depends on what it is. What time? You have to set those boundaries because you love people, friends, family or not, because people don't realize they dump on you, and I'm not a landfill. And so you have to not operate as a landfill. And when you operate, you can't get mad when you operate as a landfill and then people throw trash or things on you. You cannot be mad at them. And so you have to know your worth and know, like, I love you, but I don't have the capacity to help you beyond that. So trauma, the word trauma itself, you need a mental health therapist. The word trauma itself, you need to give your wounds to God. I can't help you with that. I hope that helped whoever the question. Men, did that help you? You want to say something about that, Tashan?
And one more thing. Hurt people, right? Mm-hmm. And so there is a cycle of trauma and trauma and trauma. Broken household.
Yep.
Trauma.
Yes.
Broken adults, trauma.
Yep.
Broken children, broken adults, trauma. Reliving that cycle, right? So it's important for us that we change that narrative, right? This whole generation, what generation are we in now? They got millennials and then Z and stuff like that. All right. So millennials broke out the mold, right?
Yeah.
Millennials were known for finding that mold of what we're supposed to be, what society is supposed to look like, and broke it. Some were good, some were bad, but broke it, right? So now it's almost cool to break stereotypes.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of stereotypes and a lot of stigmas on the black community.
It is.
Some that we put on ourselves, some that other people put on us. We have to break that, yo. listen, I can vouch for me and my household, right? For me and my household, I'm going to make sure that financially, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, we're at least trying to be better than what our parents were, right? And then if every generation starts to heal themselves, then we start getting to a point where, you know, people aren't necessarily projecting their trauma on you because we're addressing our trauma already,
say that.
right? So
that's good.
You might not be able to change what another person does as far as they're projecting on you, but you can make sure that you're healing so that you don't project on somebody else.
Exactly. And you only can talk to somebody or parent or love to the mental capacity that you've been healed. So if you haven't been healed or trying to heal, then of course that trauma is going to be on them. And one thing you said earlier was a lack of knowledge. Y'all, I'm going to be real. There ain't no excuses no more. You can text, you can Google, you can do everything. There's no lack of knowledge anymore. You know, our parents could say that and their parents could say that. But now, where does it stop? Where does the excuses stop? It stops with us, y'all. And so it's our job to make sure we're getting what we need. We can cope with alcohol. We can cope with, you know, food. And we can cope with all of these other things. But you have to really look in the mirror and look at yourself and take accountability and say, hey, you know, I can go to the hair seat and get something, and I know how to find that. You can find the resources you need. You got to think about it. Like, you want to find it, you can. And there is someone, I mean, Instagram has, you can go to Instagram and find a therapist now. It's just no excuses no more. You can go to Instagram and find God. Like, it's no excuses anymore. So we got to really, like, men, women, anybody who's watching, we got to kind of take accountability now and say, you know what, I want to be that change agent in my family, and it starts with you.
One of the hardest things in the world that can weigh on you like nothing else is wanting more for somebody else than they want for themselves.
Say that.
Listen, one of the hardest things in the world is wanting somebody else to change or seeing potential in somebody else that they don't see in themselves.
Say that.
And then the second hardest thing is realizing that and understanding that you might have to let them go, or that you can't help them, or they might have to learn on their own time period that's not aligned with your time period. That's hard. That's hard. I got so many people that I grew up with, or homies that from my neighborhood, from my high school or something like that, that I wanted to take with me. Every accomplishment that I've had in my life, I've had somebody in my mind like, man, I wish my brother was here. You know what I mean? Graduating, degrees, to owning a home, to just being places. There's something about being at a rooftop restaurant or something like that, just overlooking a city that will change your mindset to be like, you know, traveling, experiencing new things. The first time I rode on a jet ski, I'm like, man, you know, people stuff that we think is not for us, that we think it's other people's stuff. You start experiencing that, and you're like, wow. I went skydiving before, y'all. I jumped out of a plane at 10,000 feet. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. But the reason I did it is because my aunt had did it a couple of years before. And she said the viewpoint up there changes your perspective.
That's good.
I said, I got to try it. I'm not going to try it again. But when I was up there, I'm like, yo, you see the world from a completely different perspective. And naturally, you want everybody connected to you to feel that. You see what I'm saying? But everybody might not feel, and that hurts. That hurts, y'all. But don't carry that, because it will weigh you down. It will weigh you down. What's up?
So what I heard you say was mindset. Like, that's all mental health is. And I'm hearing experiences and exposure will shift your mindset. Everybody have automatic negative thoughts. They're going to come. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your title is. They're going to come. But that mindset shift, exposure, number one, and those experiences as well, and being in your circle of influence. Woo! Let me tell y'all one thing about the circle of influence, y'all. So if you conform to your circle of influence, like how are you going to minister to the people that you conforming to? Like, if your circle of influence is part of your assignment and then you conform to them, think about that. So you got to have a different type of mindset around, you know, the circle of influence. I don't care how strong you are, y'all. If you're around people that are very negative, that kind of weigh on you a little bit. I don't care how mentally strong you think you are, but that kind of weigh on you a little bit. And so sometimes changing that, or having different circles for different things, put it that way. not spending 100% of your time in this one specific circle. You have to have different circles. That all plays a role in your mental health, y'all. So I do want to talk about like some ways or some strategies. I'm gonna hear from Tashan first. Like, what are some? Give us a way that helped you, you know, with your mental health, your mindset, like become better mentally.
You honestly, you made a good point. Once I started changing the people that I hung around with, and not all the time, like you said, not like abandoning my friends or forgetting where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? I still go home. I'm on Brandon's Bridge Road. Still hang with the people from Happy Hill. Still hang with the people from old mill town homes. But at the same, only some people know old mill towns. But at the same time, I also connect with people that's where I'm trying to go.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm getting different perspective. I'm getting a whole bunch of different perspective. And also, you got to understand, I work in the healthcare system. So I see literally hundreds of people in a month, like different people, dozens of people a day, multiplied. So I'm running into and I'm interacting with a lot of people. And the first thing you do is, as a provider, I have to build a connection with you. Like you said earlier, I got to build rapport. So I'm finding some common ground with a lot of different people. So I'm getting a lot of different perspectives. And that's opening up my mindset and making me realize things that I might have needed that I didn't know I need. Or, I'm just being exposed to different things, right? If nothing changes, then nothing changes, right? So if you start just exploring and exposing, and like you said, the world is at our fingertips now. Like, you got YouTube, you got people that are trying to get your attention, to expose you to something new. Now you have to guard what you're being exposed to, of course, but at the same time, you have unlimited resources at our fingertips. And just by that alone, for me, that's when I started learning. That's when I started growing. I started hanging around with people that didn't agree with everything that I agree with. When I talk to people, when I need advice, I don't go to a yes man. You know what I mean? That's why I don't ask Pastor for advice, because he going to tell me some stuff that I don't necessarily want to hear at the time. I'm not there yet. I might call you one of these days.
That's true.
I ain't going to call you now. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But just people that are going to check you, tell you, hey, bro, you tripping on this, or give you a different perspective on things. One of my line brothers, Melvin, if you watching, shout out to you, always gives me a crazy different perspective. Like, when I'm coming, I had this huge exam that I was supposed to be studying for, a certification exam. And I'm nervous about it. Like, I'm tripping, and I'm trying to hide the fact that I'm nervous about it. And I'm talking to him, and I'm just like expecting like a pity party. He gave me a perspective that was like, oh, I'm tripping, bro. I can do this. You know what I'm saying? And so you need those type of people in your life, right? You need people that's pouring into you so you can pour out into other people. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, I'm going to give a clinical tip. So one thing I tell my clients is you need a mental health day, hour, 10 minutes. And so every day you need some reflection time, y'all. If you're going and going and going, you don't have that reflection time will send you, like, really save you 5 years of mistakes. When you're reflecting on you, you're aware. First of all, it's awareness and acknowledging, like, dang, I ain't do too good today. Like, oh, okay, I forgot all this stuff. What's going on inside here? And you can really sit down and reflect and be like, oh, my desk all junky. What? Okay, something ain't right. Like, you missed the small stuff. So it's in your everyday habits where you realize, like, either my mental is off or it's not. It's in those daily habits. Or you can see those patterns and say, wow, it's the first of the month. I'm acting like this. Last month I was like this. Try to what's going on there, okay? So I think in your everyday habits, looking at your patterns, looking at your frequency of things, you can kind of help yourself, and then, seek help if you need more. And know that your mental health goes up and down. It's not a, one step. No, it goes up and down. And it depends on situations. Somebody can die. It depends on, anniversaries, whatever it is. It's not like a one-stop shop. So know and be aware that it's okay. Like May, somebody passed away last year, May, and that may be hard for you. But that doesn't mean that, I'm going crazy. No, it means I'm missing my loved one.
Also, another thing, Eddie, I know you got a question too. Also, another thing, realize that you're not crazy.
You're not crazy. Stop using that word. Please stop using that word. Everybody erase it. Say, I am not crazy, and I will not use that word.
Yeah. realize you're not crazy for feeling what you're feeling.
Exactly.
For thinking what you're thinking. And all of that, like she said, it goes up and down. You're human.
You're human.
Like men, we bleed too.
Yes.
We hurt. We have those different emotions, and it's okay.
It's okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like realize, bro, it's okay. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay for somebody to hurt your feeling. Like I said, that was hard for me to say, but it takes strength to say something like that. You see what I'm saying? Realize that you have to get it out.
Yes.
You know, that's what I gotta say. Eddie, what's your question?
Okay.
So like one of them is for the people, for like black males, who has lost trust.
That's good.
Because like it's a lot of people who are in a position to help people.
Yep.
And use that against them. Like, where men got use the conversation or that man got opened up to him to go behind his back.
He gonna ask his question in the microphone so everyone can hear it. Start your question over.
So basically, it's a two-part question. I just want to know, like, for the men that has lost trust and going out, reaching out to for help because of people who have used that against them, whether it was in the church, whether it was professional counsel, whatever the case may be, they used their story or what they talked about against them. They lost trust in that area, and for maybe some advice on, like, if we looking to seek help, like, what are some quality things that we need to look into? Like, what are some things that we like? How will we know that, okay, this is the right kind of person that we need to talk to? Is right, like, you know, professionally wise, like things that we can look for that we can tell that this is a good person to talk to. Right.
I can feel that, and I'm gonna let you answer majority of that question because obviously that's you.
Okay, so I'll go back to the first one about the trust. So I'm going to do both spiritual and practical. So the first thing is we have to trust God to guide us to the people. And that's the thing. We compare people a lot. And it does hurt when we have the people or, the trust, or even people who dealt with like sexual trauma or molestation. We don't trust people anymore, but we know we can trust God to guide us to those people. And so that was even with me, I lacked a lot of trust. I struggled with abandonment. It was tough. But I'm like, once I started that relationship with God, like he started showing me people that I could trust. And I'm going to be honest, God started showing me that I could trust him. And so I was able to, God was able to put people around me. I'll be real, even with my pastor. I'm like, God, I don't know. And he kept saying, no, you can trust your pastor. Like, I sent him here to cover you as your spiritual leader. And so you can trust him with your vulnerable things. When pastor call you up for prayer, you don't really want to tell him everything. But he's like, God is like, you can trust him. So that's one thing. Y'all, stop sleeping on God. Like, he is the end all be all. Go to him because he will send you to that person. But he'll also heal those wounds that happened to you back in the day or now. He will be able to heal those moments. Will say, you know what? Kind of give you compassion for those people. So the second thing is finding. Hope that answered your question. I know it was more spiritual. I know it's more spiritual. Okay, practically, I'm going to just be honest. You're going to have to come to a place where they did what they did, but you're going to have to come to a place where it's like, okay, if I hold on to this hurt, if I hold on to this mistrust with them, then how far am I going to go? So I'm going to just be like, that forgiveness thing is big. And you might have to forgive in isolation, might not fool with them no more. But and the forgiveness is for you so you can grow. So we're going to stay stuck at a place if we put your toe. You know how you get in the pool and you put your foot in, you put your toe, then you put your foot. You're going to have to do that with trust. All right, I'm putting my toe in, God. Okay, now my foot in, help me. We not going all the way in because we didn't trust the people. The second thing was, okay, for counselors, and I'm going to be real. Everybody out here is not doing ethical counseling, not pure at the heart. I'm just going to say that, not calling no names. However, these are some questions that I would ask. I would even ask your therapist, do you have a therapist currently, or have you ever had therapy? That's big. You're not going to counsel me if you've never experienced it. Your degree will not help you with everything your client going through. It just won't. So, and you need to know that your counselor at a mental safe space. The second one is really look at the things you need from a counselor and check their website out. So if you go to my website, you will see I deal with a lot of inner child issues. And so if that's not something you need, when someone comes to me and they say, hey, I'm bipolar, I refer them to someone else because that's not my specialty. So, but you got to do your homework and say, what am I really dealing with? Like, even if it's feelings, just put it on paper and say, okay, these are the things I'm dealing with. Let me go, to their website, their Instagram to see, like, if this is the person for me. Also know if you're comfortable with a male or female based off of it may be trust, it may be lack of trust or whatever. I know for me, I didn't want a male counselor, and that was just me. I wanted a female counselor just for gender purposes. So that's another thing you can look at, writing down, like, what do I really need? And then, of course, allowing the Holy Spirit to lead you to someone. Now you can go online and also schedule consultations with them. I'm not sure if y'all know that, and it's free. Most people are offering consultations, so you don't have to jump out there and just pay somebody. You can do a consultation. Also, I always tell my people, this is not an end-all contract. If you have a session or 2 or 3 with me and you ain't feeling me, it ain't for you, you can dismiss and go to someone else, and I will help you find someone else, because my thing is, as long as you're getting what you need. So even if you pay this person and you feel like it's not for them, you're doing yourself a disservice by staying with them. So I hope that answered your loaded question. That was good. Okay.
So,
shout out to my husband.
one of the worst things you can do to a male is take advantage of our vulnerability.
Yes.
Like, if I'm opening up to you and you take advantage of that, I'm making myself vulnerable. I'm letting the guard down for all this stuff. My guard is gonna come up like 10 times as strong, right? I get that. I've been there, fellas. I'll use this as an example. When I was dating, young, years before I met the beautiful woman.
Long time ago, in high school.
I was very careful about relationships I would get into, but because I once you get your heart broken one time, you don't want to experience that anymore. But after the first heartbreak's the worst heartbreak, right? You just torn up. After that, I realized that there was a potential that I would have that hurt again, right? But I couldn't let that hold me down from going 100% with my wife, right? So when I met her, I was like, listen, I'm not the type of person that walks in the pool through the shallow end. Anybody knows me, I'm jumping straight into the deep end. It's all or nothing for me, right? And so I know that there's a potential that I could get hurt. I'm going all in with you. I know it's a potential that this could backfire on me, but that's a risk that I'm willing to take. I say that to say, once you open yourself up vulnerable, whether it's a counseling session or with a homie, one, you got to be, if it's with a homie or something like that, you got to be careful who you divulge certain information to, right? Because everybody can't handle everything, and everybody don't need to know everything about you. But I also know that there's a chance that this could backfire on me, but I have to do it. You see what I'm saying? And if it does, if I do get burnt, cool, learn my lesson, but I have to be able to do it again at some point, right?
That's good.
That's the type of person I am. I got to go hard. Like there's no, and sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. There's no in between with me. It's either all or nothing. You see what I'm saying? So when I go into it, I'm like, listen, I might get burnt. I might have got burnt last time, but I got to go for it. You dig?
No, that's good.
And that's a different type of strength. Because it's easier to be like, man, I don't trust nobody. You see what I'm saying? But it's a different type of strength, and it's a different growth when you realize, listen, it's a world of imperfect people, and it might happen.
That's good.
Listen, y'all, we got about 10 minutes left. If you got any questions, send them to us. If we don't get to all your questions, we'll either DM you or connect with you separately, please. How many questions we got right now? Just one right now? All right, go for it.
How do you make the reflection time? How do you make that reflection time when you're so exhausted from everything?
How do you make that reflection time when you're so exhausted from everything? Everything. Run it down.
So okay. This gonna be, are you ready? You being exhausted from everything is a red flag to know that you have to change everything. So if you're exhausted by everything, there has to be a change, because you are no longer a priority. And when you are no longer a priority, you're in a dangerous zone. And so you have to make time. And I'm going to be honest, I have to sacrifice time. I have to sacrifice sleep sometimes so I can have my me time, my reflection time with God, or even just writing, journaling, whatever, working out, whatever you need to do. But when you just feel so exhausted, you're going to have to time out. And even if it's in the car, on your way to work, or if you work from home, go act like you're going to work and sit in the car and have that time to yourself, because I know we all have busy schedules. I know we got so much on us, but we spend 30 minutes on our phones. We can spend 30 minutes just a pause for ourselves. Make time. I don't care if it's in the bathroom. You got the water on. They think you doing something in the bathroom, and you're not. You just having that reflection time. But I do want you to literally do something called time blocking. Time blocking is whatever time you wake up, like 7 a.m., do every hour. And I want you this week, I'm going to just say Monday. I want you Monday to write everything you did within an hour so you can be reflective to see where's my time going and where can I fit myself into this space. Because some of the time is productive and some is not. And when you really see it on paper, you be like, I do got an hour. Hope that helped your question.
I'm going to run it down for you because I feel that. I feel that. Fellas, my wife has to tell me all the time, go sit down somewhere.
Please.
Because I'm gonna break down a little psychology. I took 3 psychology classes in my first degree. 3 psychology classes, so I'm like practically. You
practically almost.
I'm practically there.
Like this much, y'all.
Practically there.
Yeah.
Bruh. 97 more credits and I could be,
Period.
You know what I'm saying?
98.
So, listen.
And 3,000 hours, okay?
Fellas, we will run ourselves into the ground before we take a break. Eddie, am I lying? Am I lying? We will run ourselves into the ground till our body breaks down and we have to take a break. Why? Because something always has to be done. Always has to be done. We just got off the road yesterday, 5-hour trip, 5.5-hour trip, whatever. Got there. I'm thinking the whole time I'm driving. I'm like, all right, we're going to get back. It's going to be about 6:30. I got 2 hours worth of sunlight left. I can knock out this yard. I can knock out the front and the backyard. Then I can wash the cars tomorrow. I'm exhausted.
Come off the road and knocking out the yard.
Listen.
No.
Listen, I'm already thinking. For me, I told my wife this. I can't rest when I know that there's stuff that has to be done.
It can wait.
Because I feel guilty laying down thinking like, well, this is going to back up, and then tomorrow I'm going to have to do double, then I'm going to have to do. We will go until we shut down. But then when you shut down, how productive are you, right?
Hello.
There's a thing in your job, take advantage of this, called mental health days.
Yes.
I've called out before I've woken up in the middle of the day like, bro, I can't do this. I mean, in the morning, I can't do this. It's last minute. It's inconvenient for other people. I hate having to cancel patients because now they're not getting what they need. But if I go there and I ain't got nothing to give them, they're not getting what they need anyway. And then they're just wasting their money. Physical therapy isn't cheap. You're just wasting your money not getting something out of it. I'd rather you cancel and catch me on my fullest because you're not going to be effective in anything you have to do if you're worn out. Bro, if you're tired from everything, that lets you know that you need to take that time out.
Yes.
You need to take that time to just analyze, refresh, breathe, all that type of stuff. At least give yourself a context to be able to put things in moving forward. Because this is what I realized. Life isn't going to stop coming at you, right?
Nope.
Even the stress, because it all boils down to different types of stresses. Am I wrong? So the stressors, the things that cause stress, aren't going to stop coming. What changes is your ability to respond and process and handle that, right? So if something does happen, stuff is going to happen. How do you respond to it? If you're tired, you're not going to respond well because mentally you don't have the capacity to respond well. If you're refreshed or you at least have, you know what I'm saying, that time to be like, all right, this is how I need to process this or whatever like that. If you have those timeouts, then you're able to take whatever comes to you. You're able to take the blows and the punches because you know what I'm saying. That's just how life works. So if you're tired and there's a lot of stuff going on, this is your time. Like she said, that's a red flag. This is your time. Stop before something bad happens.
And I'll say this last tip for anybody who is not rested, and like you said. We have to, on those good days that we have, like Tashan, we preparing for those bad days as well. Yeah. So just like I know a lot of people are nutritionists and all of that, we do meal prep and you got to mind prep. So when you mind prep, you're preparing for that next. We know stress going to come. We know it could be big, small, But if you're always cutting the grass, if you're always doing something, it's going to catch you off guard, right? And so, but if we're prepared for that, meaning being proactive, taking those reflective days for yourself, utilizing your EAP services, which is free mental health therapist counseling for your job. You can get 3 to 6 sessions for free. Like, look into those things. So on those days, you won't be under the bed. You'll be on top of the bed. You might be a little sad on top of the bed, but you won't be under the bed. And so you can be, an asset to your family and to yourself. And so utilize those good days, too, to prepare for those bad days that's going to come.
At the end of the day, fellas, it's okay.
Period.
Wherever you at, I don't care if you on the highest of highs and life is going great, cool. If you feel like it's all falling down and it's horrible, it's okay. I've been there. I get it. You're not the only one that's ever been there before. You're not alone. I don't care what you think, what people are telling you, who's in your ear talking negative to you, or whatever. You're not alone. It's cool. You're okay. Reach out to us. If you don't, at the end reach out to me. I mean, on certain things, like, I ain't no counselor. Like I said,
all right.
I only got 9 credit classes, but I,
right.
you know what I mean?
You
know what I'm saying? You got resources. You got
people.
Yeah, Laurie, if you need her, I can help you out. Like, I can help your knees. So listen, but seriously, seek out that help. It's okay. It's cool. Honestly, I probably had the most amount of friends tell me in the past year that either they've been to counseling or they're going to counseling.
Yes.
And it was cool because I'm like, all right, that makes it cool for me to be able to go to counseling.
Yes.
You dig? So the more you tell people, you know what I'm saying, that you be transparent. Let's not even say vulnerable. If you don't want to use it, okay, you ain't there yet. Don't say vulnerable. That's a trigger word. Transparent.
Yes.
Real. You know what I'm saying? The more you be real and the more you be genuine, the more you open up the door for other people to say, all right, man, I'm going through something too. You dig? So once we start doing that, we start healing, and then you really start changing. Because, man, you're the cornerstone of the family. Like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody told me one time, you're the thermostat. You set the temperature in the house. If you're not right, everybody else is going to sense that energy, and it's just going to be tension around the house. You've experienced it before. I've experienced it before. So the better you are to help other people out, and the better the family is going to be. For real, for real.
That's good, y'all. Any more questions, y'all? Because we about to wrap it up. We definitely enjoyed y'all. Put in the comments if you got anything from this. Put a word, put a clap, put an emoji, whatever. If you got something from this today, if you can take something back to your family, put it in the comments. We'd love to
put a fist. Put a fist.
We would love to hear from it. We also want to throw in a little surprise for any male or any female on here that know a male that would love this huge surprise. We need a drum roll, please. Any drums? All right, so because you tuned in today and you shared this, we are picking 3 men to provide free, only 3 sessions for free.
Whoa.
For free. We're picking 3 men, 3 free sessions, but you have to DM the Flowing Life page, get in touch with our pastor. These sessions will be provided by me, no other than Laurie Ford, maybe your potential therapist. If it's anybody in the house of Flowing Life, I can't counsel you because we have a fellowship relationship. We will provide you with 2 sessions, all expenses paid, with a therapist of your choice. So put that in the comments. If it's you, go ahead, because we only doing 3 people that's outside the house, 2 people in the house, and that can be and even our virtual family. If it's some here in our virtual family, and I haven't met you, then you could be one of the ones with me. But if you're inside the house and I've met you and I fellowship with you, we've done outreach together, then we're still going to pay for 2 sessions with another therapist. So get in touch with Flowing Life, because we can't talk about right. we can't talk about breaking the stigma and don't put a seed on it. So yeah.
So I didn't even know that was a I didn't know. So that's y'all better hop on them. Y'all better hop on them. That's dope. Listen, stay connected, y'all. Truth be told, we're gonna pray.
Yes.
If there's anything specifically that you got request of, put it in the comments for real. Because seriously, we got to heal as a people.
Yes.
As a people, y'all,
Woo.
we have to heal. And if we're the leaders, then it starts with us, and then it flows down from there. So I'll be the first to tell you, I wasn't joking. Like I've been talking about going to counseling for the last 2 weeks or whatever like that. So I have to put my actions.
Hello.
on
Woo!
where it is.
Glory to God.
Because I feel good today.
Love it.
And I feel good.
That's
but,
so good.
You know, there's tomorrow too.
And it's the next hour.
And the next day. So y'all, we're gonna pray, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up. Before we pray, hold on.
Okay. You can find my information at www.lfordcounseling.com. You can also go to my Instagram at _Mrs.Fordcounseling. www.lfordcounseling.com. You can fill out the consultation form, and my assistant will get back with you to schedule your consultation if you are not in the house. If you are in the house, we'll get your information and we'll give you some potential therapists, and you just let us know and we'll pay for it. lfordcounseling.com. It comes right up. My picture is going to be right there. You will see it.
Keep in contact with the ministry. Follow us on Instagram, Flowing Life Charlotte, at Flowing Life Charlotte, on Facebook at Flowing Life, also on the website www.flowinglife.org. All right. If there's anything else, we'll pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this time, Lord. Thank you for just giving us opportunity to talk, to vent, to learn, and to be set free, Lord. There's so much hurt, and we're dealing with so much, and I know you see it, Lord. And I pray and I thank you for the spiritual aspects and the spiritual tools to be able to be set free, but also the physical, the mental, the emotional tools, Lord. You made us a whole being, a whole complete being. So whether that's physical, financial, emotional, spiritual, all those aspects, psychological, professional, all those aspects, Lord, can be complete. And so I thank you, Lord God. Get everybody connected on the stream, whether they're connected with our ministry, whether they want to connect with our ministry, if they have a different ministry they're connected to. I don't care where you're at. Just get fed. Grow. If you're not growing, find somewhere that you can grow. Find somewhere that you can feel comfortable, Father. So I just thank you for the opportunity that we had to be able to talk to people, to be able to share to people, because we're the type of church, y'all, where we're going to give you some food, but then we're also going to give you some practicality as well. So, Lord, I thank you for using us to be able to affect other people, and then even people in this stream to be able to affect people that they know. And just like that, a ripple starts to change. Jesus' name I pray, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I feel like singing a hymn, y'all. Nah, I ain't going to sing it. Are we still on?
I can't wait.
All right, everybody. Thank you. For everything, literally. If you want to keep connecting to this ministry, Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. we'll be right here back on this page. Also, Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. we'll be right here on this page. If you missed something, you can follow it at a later time because these lives are always still up. Also, we're on YouTube, and you can see our YouTube channel. All right, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you. We love you.
Love you. Have a great night.